You want the plastic surgeon? If you insist. For context, this takes place at a large academic center in Canada where it is very common to have residents performing basic procedures. I once got a call as a senior resident from an emergency physician apologizing for consulting us for an irate woman with a small laceration on her hand, insisting that a plastic surgeon come to fix her right now. Of course, this was well within his scope of practice, but despite telling the patient this, she refused to allow just an MRG doc to fix wound. He explains the situation, and I decide that this would be an excellent opportunity for malicious compliance as well as teaching my junior resident. So I tell him not to worry. I'll be down when we finish in the OR in a few hours. So I go down to see the patient with my junior, who just happens to be an off-service MRG resident. I examine the patient and explain to the now impatient woman that Dr. Junior resident would be fixing her hand. Keep in mind, by this point she has been waiting a few hours longer than she would have if she had let the MRG doc fix her. So ironically, instead of having her hand fixed by an emergency physician who has likely done thousands of these, she has it done by a junior MRG resident who has done like 2 or 3. And of course, I was there the entire time to ensure the resident did a satisfactory job. So it was more work for myself in the end. But I did enjoy the irony of the situation. Advocating for yourself as a patient is a great thing. Obstinately demanding X, Y, or Z thing is not. I cut my thumb cooking once. I drove it to the and sat in a curtained room for a few hours. They were super busy and must have gotten in some accident victims or something. I could hear them doing CPR on 2 people, and the doc was bouncing back and forth between patients. I sat there quietly, not dating to make a sound. My hand had soaked up an entire kitchen towel and blood was dripping on the floor. I was missing work. None of that was important. When Doc finally came in and tried to apologize, I thanked him for saving those lives. I felt bad for taking his time for 8 lil stitches when he had people who truly needed his help. People are so self-centered and forget what really matters. I don't know most things about medicine. However, don't they typically reserve calling in a plastic surgeon for face lacerations? Or if something is really difficult? Other than that, it would be completely within the wheelhouse for an emergency medicine doctor to do the stitches. An acquaintance had an accident and needed a minor procedure. Insisted that a certain surgeon be sent to do it. 8 hours later he walked in, looked at it and said, "I can't do anything with this. You've waited far too long. You should have let the A&E doctor do it immediately." She ended up with a general anesthetic and a scar at least 3x worse than if she'd been seen immediately. Was she a famous hand model? I was in a car wreck many years ago where I hit the windshield. FYI, seatbelts don't always stop you if you recline the seat back and go to sleep. I was in the process of moving cross-country when this happened. Anyways, the skin damage to my neck was so severe that a plastic surgeon did the stitches. When I got to my new home and checked in with a new doctor, he was surprised to hear that the person doing the original work was a plastic surgeon. He said the work could have been done much better, and was surprised to notice that there were still glass fragments in my neck. My dad cut his nose off in a home repair accident. Ambulance took him to a hospital where a resident was about to see it on. My mom, who is a nurse in that city, demanded they repack the nose in ice and drove him to a different hospital where a plastic surgeon showed up in a tuxedo a few hours later. Just as a side note, his nose is fine, but it bleeds when he laughs too hard. Careful what you wish for. Not to say this lady wasn't a total dick. But a friend of mine put her arm through a glass panel on a door in the emergency room. Doctor sewed up the 5 lacerations she had. She left 2 pieces of glass inside my friend's arm and sewed one so bad she'll have to see a hand specialist and a plastic surgeon this year to have it fixed. There may be a reason she was so insistent. I know my friend will be from now on. I have a similar problem as an IT professional. Instead of presenting me with the problem, I'm given a solution and told to implement it, at least half the time. After asking a few questions to confirm the requirements, it turns out that what I was asked for wouldn't even do what was needed. This is why I always tell them to start by telling me the problem rather than what they think the solution is. Having seen lacerations in my area fixed by docs, I would have requested a plastic surgeon too. Not to say her attitude was justified, but I don't blame her concern over the end result. Did you get to charge her plastic surgeon prices too? This comes across as a bit condescending. It was in a place that is going to show and be very obvious in her daily life. She wanted a plastic surgeon to perform it. She was willing to wait hours until one became available. Then she even agreed for you to be able to teach your student on the procedure. Why is that so awful? Oh, well done. This would have been glorious in the US medical system. I think this was unethical. As a rich plastic surgeon, you obviously don't care about patient safety. Shame on you.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.